Hi, everyone, and welcome to our live chat with New York Times Publishers Weekly and USA Today bestselling author Lori Foster. Lori has received many prestigious awards for her books, including the Romantic Times Career Achievement Award for series fantasy romance and contemporary romance. Lori is also very involved in charity work, and the proceeds from many of her books benefit great causes. Today, Lori will be discussing her latest steamy romance release, Dash of Peril. So don't forget to sign up on BookTrib.com after the chat to win a copy of the book. Lori, your fans are already posting questions, and I'm sure they are eager to hear your responses. So let's get started without further ado. Crystal actually wants to know where does the magic happen? And by magic, I mean writing. Do you have a ritual?
Well, right here's where it happens. I'm at my desk where I write, and out this way faces a pond, so I can see the pond and be bugged by the cats coming in and out continuously. Um, and I do have something of a ritual. I was joking today on Facebook that I wish I could get into a ritual of not eating so much. That would be awesome, but so far that hasn't worked. So my ritual includes lighting candles because a flowery scent. I like to have a candle burning, and I play my playlist very loudly. It kind of tunes out everything.
Oh, great. Crystal.
Usually I'm up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm usually up early, and I have my coffee, talking to my friends on Facebook. That's all of you people out there,
Yeah.
and visit there and on Twitter, and then usually about 9 o'clock or so I start writing.
That's great. Crystal, also speaking of your writing playlist, she wants to know what is your writing playlist currently?
Oh, I have like 120 songs on there, and then I'll run through that 2 or 3 times a day before I'm even close to being done writing. So,
Wow.
see, there's a lot of Corn. I'm a big fan of Corn,
Nice.
and a big fan of Kid Rock. And they're pretty reckless. A reader recently shared one song with me, and I'm a big fan now. And I've got 4 songs on there. I think reckless. Marilyn Manson, Cage the Elephant.
Nice stuff to get pumped up to.
Yeah, I like loud music with a fast beat,
Me too.
but I like to be able to sing. So I'll kind of sit here.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're ridiculous.
Great. Some people have some questions about Dash of Peril, but before we get to those, can you tell us a little bit about the new release?
Sure, as much as I can remember, because since Dash Apparel, I finished 2 other stories and I'm in the middle of a
Yes, you've
third.
been busy.
So the details get a little sketchy on me. But Dash is the younger brother of the hero that was the first book in that series. So it started out with Logan, who was a police detective, and his younger brother Dash, who's not a police detective. Um, I didn't really know for sure Dash would have a story when I started out. Kind of took over and fell hard for the police lieutenant who is kind of a ball buster. I say ball buster on here live, but I can't think of another term for her. She's very much a barracuda, and she's a very strong person, and she kind of cracks the whip and keeps all the big bad detectives in line. I know so many readers have written to me and said when they read her in the previous book, they couldn't quite envision her in a romance. She was such a
Interesting.
bold, take charge, bossy woman. And then they tell me that make her human. Really glad for since the book's out there. But yeah, I mean, I thought she kind of intrigued me from the get-go. I like strong women, and I always assume there's more than one layer. I'm glad Margot showed me her other side. So they battle together. They battle. It's kind of a human trafficking that is run. They track down some people who are innocent people and forcing them into porn videos and murdering them. So and it sounds like some really heinous stuff, but that's not the big focus. The big focus. I'm terrible at synopsizing my own work. Sorry.
That's okay. No problem. I thought it was great. Um, Leah also wants to ask, she said the latest installment was so good. Where did you come up with the title Dash of Peril? And she said, I mean, I have some idea how, but she'd love to know the method behind it.
Well, she must not hang out on my Facebook page because I asked on my Facebook page, what are good titles for Dash? And that's where we got
Ah,
the title. A lot of readers contributed titles. I don't title my own books because I'm really horrible at it. So I ask for suggestions. My editor is awesome, and she'll often ask me if I have any preferences. But so, we asked readers what they thought, and one of the readers came up with that title. A long time ago, back when I was still trying to title my own work. I don't know if you remember that song, Eli's Company, Hide Your Heart Girl. You're probably too young to remember. It's a really good song. And I wrote a book with a character named Eli, and I sent it in with the title Eli's Company. And yeah, it was not a good
Hmm.
choice. The editor called me up just laughing hysterically and said, I haven't read it, but interesting title. So I no longer try to title my own work. I just leave it up to the editor, or in this case, ask readers, friends on
Renee actually, she says that she read that you stole Margaret's name from your editor, whose name is Margot. So she wants to know if you hijacked any other names or if it was just solely like a Facebook request or a call out for names.
Facebook. I steal names off Facebook all the time.
That's a great
That's
idea.
usually where I get my names. I go on there. I would never use someone's first and last name together,
Right.
but if I get stuck, because I've had so many books out, I think I've had like 80 books. It's easy to run out of names by the time you've had your main characters and then secondary characters and villains. It's so easy to run out of ideas for names. And so I'll go on Facebook and I'll scroll through everyone who's posted until I find a name that looks interesting. And, for first or last name, and then I'll scroll through and match it up with another, and I come up with a first.
Cool. Um, more.
But I did steal that one from my editor. She and I were in a car together. I was actually looking at a Katie McGarry book
Uh
and was loving the name of her characters. And my editor said, yes, no one ever uses the name Margot. Definitely not hinting for me to use it.
huh.
But I knew I needed a Margaret, so I wrote it in. She and I didn't really think about it. When I told her I was doing that, we didn't really think about the fact that I write very, very sexy stuff. And I have to
It's. I think
have
it's a great
Margaret.
name.
Yes, it is. It's a lovely name, and it worked out really well.
Awesome. Morgan has a fun question. What does your husband think about your books? Does he blush at the more steamy parts of your stories?
Well, he's never read any of the steamy
I
parts
was
of my
wondering.
stories. My husband doesn't read my work. And if anyone's ever met him, they would know they have a very hard time making my husband or any one of my three sons ever blush. It just does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So can't think of anything that would make any of them blush. But he knows what I write. He's familiar with it, but he reads more like true crime, serial killer, biography, horrible stuff like that. So he's very supportive, but not in reading my work. And actually, we've been together for like 35 years. I think it would embarrass me for him to read my
Yeah.
work. I'm
Hmm.
so I take it away from it probably and not.
Right. Um, Carly has a question about the difference between romance novels and erotic novels. She said, "Does anyone ever categorize one of your novels as erotic?"
Would I categorize them as erotic? Was that the question?
Uh, no. Has anyone ever categorized them as erotic? And what's the difference between
Um,
romance and erotic?
Yeah, I mean, I just recently had a reader write me and say that she had read all of my books and she loved them all, but she wasn't into erotica and she felt like Dash of Peril was erotica, which
Hmm.
I I don't think she's read any erotica. So, I actually don't read erotica. I think I've read Kresley Cole's erotica books because I love Kresley Cole,
Hmm.
but in general, it's not. Um, the huge difference is that romance, uh, there's certain terms romance wouldn't use
Hmm.
because it comes off sounding more crude. You can still be realistic without having to go down certain roads, and you're not going to find any menages or
Right.
people. In romance, you're definitely going to be falling in love and getting together, forming a long
Hmm.
relationship. And in erotica, as far as I know, because I haven't read that much of it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, let's see. Renee asks, what? Oh no, I'm sure. Danielle, actually, what shows are you currently watching?
Oh, I'm a huge Justified fan. Love
Great one.
Justified. Raylan is so hot. And Archer, which is a
I
cartoon, but I don't
love
care.
that
Archer's very
show.
hot.
Yeah.
You love
I
Archer?
do.
Cracks me up.
It's funny.
I like Banshee,
Oh.
and I like, I'm going to draw a blank here. Supernatural.
Mhm.
Love Dean. Wish Sam was okay. Um, the Boardwalk Empire. Basically, the only things I watch are the things that are violent and aggressive, alpha guys, and so but that's kind of what I enjoy.
Yeah, the exciting stuff. I actually have a question for you. What's the best thing about being a seat of your pants writer, and what's the worst part about it?
I would say the part is that I get to stay very excited about the story because I never quite know where it's going. I think I told you I was right up until it was time to shut things down and get ready for you, and I almost ran a little bit late here because I was right in the middle of such a fun scene that I wasn't expecting. It's for the next series, but some hilariously, I crack myself up sometimes, and I get sad with the characters and I laugh with the characters, and this just happened. What I thought was, I was very much enjoying writing it. Did not know it was going to happen. Totally took me by surprise. So for me, that's the best part is the characters often do something that I had no idea was going to happen. If I tried to plan it out, characters nor I could be that spontaneous. So those fun things. And by far the hardest part is that this is a business. And so my editor wants to know ahead of time what the book is about, and I don't know. And there's been many, many times I've tried to come up with, well, I think it's going to be about this and this. They'll do a back cover copy, and then when I turn the book in, they have to change the back cover copy because it's actually
Wow.
I don't actually know. Until I get there, I always know who my two main characters are. I don't really know who the secondary characters will be or who will step up and want the next book. I know they're going to start out with a conflict, and I know they're going to have sex, and I know they're going to end up happy. That's about it. That's about what I go into knowing.
Exactly. Um, Mike actually wants to know how long, start to finish, including editing, does it take for you to write one of your books?
Okay. Well, that varies a lot.
Right.
If you've got a lot, like when I broke my elbow, of course, I had a broken elbow this time last year.
Mhm.
Trying to work one hand left-handed when I'm a right-handed person.
Oh wow.
Of course, it took me far, far longer. And I've got a new grandbaby who's 6 months old. Of course, when he was first born, I had less time that I was computer writing. So when there's exciting things going on in life, I'll take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
When there's not anything going on, I finish a novella, which is like a shorter story anthology. I finish that in a big book like Dash of Peril. That's just hard to say because life is one of those things. Your priorities change week to week, day to day, sometimes hour to hour. So there's a lot of times when writing is a priority. But if I need to prioritize, if I need to prioritize otherwise, I do,
Mhm.
and I make it.
Right. You make
But I
it
do
work.
my best to never broken elbow notwithstanding. That threw me off.
Um, Olivia asks, are you ever sad when you have to say goodbye to your characters because you've concluded writing the book?
I'm always so glad to be rid of them. I think about this killing them off. I am a very, very impatient person, and I like to start things and finish them. And that's the hardest part about writing for me
Mhm.
is that I can't. I'm an extremely organized person. People laugh at my husband and myself because we're both that way. If something needs to be done, we want to do it 2 days ago and have it out of our way. And I can't do that with writing because of the length of the book and the time it takes to finish a book. So I'm always chomping at the bit, always wanting to get done. As we get towards the end of a book, I'm so just done, and I've already got two other books in my head that I'm wanting to get to,
Yeah.
and so I'm planning ahead. Yeah, by the time I get done, I'm glad to be done. I'm glad to ship it off. And someone had asked, I don't know if it was part of this question or before, but I don't really do a lot of editing.
Mhm.
I kind of, as I write complete. So before I'm done by the end of the day, that's what that day's work is. I don't really go back and do any edits. And so far, I've been extremely fortunate that my editor rarely ever has a chance.
I wouldn't want to edit either. It's a lot of work. It sounds like your brain's always going thinking of the next thing. How do you unwind in between books or during writing two or however many, how do you unwind during that process?
Um, we go to the movies a lot. The only time I'm not really plotting is when I'm at the movies. Uh, so if I'm at, we'll go to a lot of. I like horror flicks and I like action and I'm not a big comedy or really movie. But we go to the movies a lot whenever there's something to see. It's been a long dry spell here. Uh, we just recently saw Captain America, and that was awesome. Really enjoyed it. There hasn't been a whole lot that I've wanted to see. We enjoy going to parks, hiking a little bit, and we have the lake house, and I like swimming, and I don't really fish, but I enjoy watching my. I used to fish, but I'm kind of squeamish about it now. So those are the sorts of things. Did I lose you? I'm just going to go with it until whoever that was comes back. So Carly says, "What's the longest you've gone without writing?" Um,
I'm back.
well, when I broke my elbow, I would say that was by far the longest. Are you back? You were gone for a little bit there.
Yes, I am. I
Okay,
could see
good.
you and
You
hear
should
you, but
try
you couldn't.
going.
Yeah, so I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
put
Carly had asked how long I'd
the
gone.
question through so you could keep going.
Oh, okay. Um, had asked what was the longest I'd gone without writing, and that was
Yeah.
by far when I had broken my elbow. But other than that, I don't really go very long without writing. A weekend sometimes, if I've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you usually catch me doing it each day.
Right.
If not,
Um, I think Mike wants to know what's the worst advice anyone has ever given you when it comes to writing.
um, well, early on, and I'm just always upset to people when I tell them this. People would recommend critique groups, and I am very, very anti-critique groups. If your critique group is doing anything more than finding typos and that sort of thing for you, because the only thing an author has today, and every year it gets tougher and tougher to get published, and the only thing
Hmm.
any author has, and if you're doing your voice by committee, then you've already diluted your voice, and it's the only unique thing you have. And I don't care how good your critique group is. You wanted to write a character who was snotty and awful. And they told you this character's too awful, and you toned it down. You just hampered the person in your critique group doesn't know if the character that they thought was too ornery might be exactly what's going to appeal to an editor. So the only thing
Hmm.
you can really do is keep your voice as strong as you can keep it, polish the work as much as you yourself can polish it, not through committee, you yourself. Your critique group can't buy that book. So their advice is, I hate this sounds really mean, but their advice is literally worthless. Literally worthless. The only advice you need to take is from an editor. That's it. I wouldn't even let an agent critique me,
Yeah.
an editor. Someone who can buy my book. Really, really, I
That's
cannot
great
stress on.
advice.
Now, going back to what's the worst advice I got, I had tried so long to get published. I had written 10 books. It was 5 years, and I was getting wonderful feedback, but I wasn't making a sale. And I finally thought, going to quit worrying about what it is that I should be writing, and I'm just going to write what I want to write because apparently I'm never going to sell, and I just want to. So I wrote a book, and I shared it with friends, and they all said, "You do that? They're not going to buy that. That will never sell." And that So that was kind of my lesson that you have to, I think when you're passionate about it and you really love it and you do what you really want to do with the story, that comes
Yeah.
through in a strong voice.
Hmm. Persevere through that. Absolutely. Um, we have a fun question from Andrew. He said, I always wonder why the men on your book covers look so hunky. How come you never have an average Joe as your main male lead or on the book cover?
Oh, my husband's asked me that too, because I tend to write women that the everyday woman can relate to, but it's always the big, really gorgeous, buff alpha guy that she gets. I
Hmm.
don't know. There again, don't critique me. You have to write what I like, and I
Right,
get
right,
apparently I like the really hunky alpha guys. Um, I don't pick the cover models, and I don't pick the covers. That's
right.
publisher and editors take care of that, and I'm sure that's what sells. The only thing I do is I always beg and beg and beg to give the guys chest hair because I really do not like the whole wax chest thing. My heroes are too busy kicking butt and saving lives to be in the bathroom waxing their chest. So I like a hairy chest on a guy, not an ape, but a normal hairy chested
More
guy.
realistic.
I give my heroes flaws, but I don't. And plus too, a lot of the guys are younger, so they haven't had a chance to get old and comfortable. Once my
Right.
heroine loves them, they.
Hmm. Sunny May wants to know, are you going to have another anthology of writers cookbook?
Probably not. I did that one as a charity effort for the troops. Proceeds from that go to a friend of mine who does shopping and sends stuff out to the troops. So whenever I get a royalty check for that, I send that off. Since then, at the time when I did the cookbook, I did not realize that the publisher would get on board with me doing an actual special contract with romance. So since then, I have written one book a year that's a romance story, published regularly through whichever publisher I'm in with Berkeley and Harlequin. They do everything for those books that they would for my otherwise other books. And the way the contracts are written, the money goes directly to a charity. So it's the One Way Farm, which is a home for children, Animal Adoption Foundation, Productive Learning School for kids with spina bifida. So once a year, I do a book like that, but I think my romances garner more money for the charity.
Hmm. That's great. Leah wants to know, why do you think your books are so popular? She says the romance genre is huge, but people seem to gravitate towards your books the most. That's
I
nice.
don't know. No, I have
I
no
know,
way
right?
of knowing. I've joked because like Getting Rowdy was so popular, and I heard from so many readers who really loved him. And before that, like Say No to Joe and Noah from Too Much Temptation. I don't know what it is about certain characters that resonate with readers. I wish I knew. I would bottle it. I would incorporate it into every single book.
Hmm.
I always just write there again what I love to create. I'm just thrilled that it's for readers, but I could never pinpoint what it is that readers actually like about it. A lot of readers will tell me the characters come across as someone they could actually know, like a neighbor. They feel like they've
Hmm.
actually are full dimensional, maybe. How that would work, I don't know. I just recently went to the Reed Academy. It's an MMA school local here. It's the next series. And the Charles Reed, the one who runs and owns the school, was telling me that a lot of people can learn MMA but not teach it. I can totally relate because apparently I can write, but I could never teach it. I could never pinpoint what it is I do or how it is I do it that someone else could pick it up. I don't.
Yeah, I know it's hard to kind of say about your own work, but I actually thought of a question. I don't know if you have any, chance to travel. You're so busy, but if you've been to places in the past, where's the most romantic place in the world to you, or one of the?
Well, right now he'd be up in the kitchen because that's where my husband's cooking me dinner.
Oh,
he's
that's
pretty
great.
pretty romantic. Yeah, he just brought me some hyacinth flowers today. You know,
Oh,
pampering for me. Smells so good. Like I said, we've been together for 35 years, and he's pretty darn awesome. Um, Location wise, you know, we've been to Canada. I went to South Korea, but he wasn't with me when I went to South Korea.
oh
I can't
wow.
really say that that was, although it was pretty awesome. That was to
Mhm.
visit my middle son. You know, maybe Gatlinburg, Kentucky, just because we went together and had a log cabin in the woods kind of thing. You know, hot tub on the back porch. I think when you're happily married, like I said, it's just wherever you're at.
Right. That's really nice. So we're gonna wrap up, but before we do, I just wanted to put in one more question from Irene. She says, "Which authors do you enjoy reading, and have you been influenced by any of them?"
Oh, I'm hugely influenced by the authors that I really love. And when I really love an author, I really love an author. Currently, I am just head over heels for Katie McGarry, which is really funny for me because she writes young adult, and I had never read young adult and didn't think I would enjoy young adult. But she writes some that, you know, maybe they all do. I don't know. I haven't read anyone else, but her characters are very mature. They do have sex, so I mean, it's not like holding hands in a high school auditorium, but they're very, very mature. It's facing a lot of problems, and the girls are smart, and the boys are alpha, and really, really love her work a lot. Leslie Cole with her, oh, what is it called? Her supernatural stuff. Drawn a blank.
Mhm.
Those were also, but demons. The demons are my. She writes in a way that they're werewolves, but they're not all hairy with claws. They kind of have the aura of the wolf, which I can get into.
Oh, that's
Who
neat.
else? I like Jill Shalvis a lot. I've read a lot of Jill Shalvis. She's so funny, great dialogue. Aaron McCarthy, really hot. And again, I think I like funny stuff. I don't really like anything that's going to depress me.
Mhm.
I like to laugh. Perfect Partners by Jane and Krantz is one of my all-time favorite books ever. And if anyone goes and reads that book, when you get to the line, good news, she doesn't need therapy, then you'll know why. That's a favorite book. Pretty awesome. Those are some of my favorites.
That's excellent. Excellent answer. I've never heard of some of those authors, so I'm gonna check them out.
Come
Thank you
out, check
for
it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lori. It was an absolute pleasure. And everyone watching right now, don't forget to go to BookTrib after the live chat and enter to win a copy of Dash of Peril, Lori's latest release. Thank you so much, Lori.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.